right, Ryan, everyone loves that forecast, too. It's going to be nice out there today.
Yeah, spring-like weather returning after the winter weather that we saw the past few days. This was the look at Sandia Peak yesterday, where I really enjoyed the snowpack, but a lot of that already started to melt. Even temperatures this morning for some a little bit above freezing in parts of the Albuquerque metro. We got the clear skies like we really saw yesterday, and we're going to continue to see the clear skies, the warmer weather as we're now in daylight time. Temperatures on the rise, at least for the short term. Here are our current temperatures. A warmer morning in Clayton, a little bit breezy, 40 degrees right now, 28 in Raton, 39 at the Sunport. Meanwhile, below freezing in Santa Fe, 30. You guys picked up a little bit of wet snow, even the foothills of Albuquerque, of course, with the past storm system. 15 in Alamosa, 37 in Hobbs and Carlsbad. We're sitting at 23 in the reserve, 17 in Grants, 35 right now in Alamogordo. We're sitting in the mid to upper 30s in Ruidoso. Here are the current metro temperatures. Look at that, pretty cold in Moriarty, 12 degrees with that snowpack, allowing for that colder air to really come on in from the higher elevations down toward the lower elevations in parts of the Rio Grande Valley. 24 in Los Lunas, 30 at the Sunport. We're sitting at 38 in Edgewood. We're dealing with that downsloping westerly warmer wind starting to warm things up in parts of the Albuquerque metro and parts of the East Highlands, and we'll continue to deal with that until, again, our next weather pattern change. A quiet start right now in the Duke City on this 4:45 morning, Monday morning in the Albuquerque Sunport. 39 at the Sunport, a northwesterly wind at 6 miles per hour. 46% relative humidity and clear skies. We'll continue to deal with that. Often with these weather patterns, we get pretty cold mornings, especially after storm systems, and pretty mild afternoons. Throughout the next several hours, clear skies across the land of enchantment, wispy clouds off to our north, and starting to approach the Great Basin, eventually approaching the Four Corners much later today. Of course, later sunrise and a later sunset. So our higher temperatures today will be a little bit later in the day compared to what we normally see around 4 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock. Right around 68 in Albuquerque, low to mid 60s even in Santa Fe. So a lot of that snow will continue to melt with hardly anything left over in Santa Fe proper. 70s throughout much of eastern New Mexico, but 60s throughout western New Mexico. But the northern mountain community is pretty mild in the upper 50s and 60s, high 40s in some of the higher mountain peaks. 68 in Albuquerque this afternoon, very sunny. Cloud-free skies for the entirety of today, warming up and drying out. So from jacket weather to t-shirt weather, and a little bit breezy, especially with those warmer downsloping winds with that sinking air accelerating and warming things up, especially from Santa Rosa and Tucumcari. 25 to 35 plus mile per hour wind gusts today. Not too windy, but tomorrow will be the windiest of the next few days. Later this week will be even windier. From Deming all the way to Roswell, winds gusting between 25 up to 45 miles per hour, elevating the fire threat once again, especially not only around the Sierra Blanca range, but down toward the Hidalgo County area from 12 o'clock to 8 o'clock tomorrow. We got red flag warnings in those areas for low humidity and gustier winds, potentially sparking out fires. As that quick mover of a storm system moves through later this week, we'll have another one much later in the week, producing more rain, snow. Later this week through Friday, spotty showers in southeast New Mexico, rain, wet snow, even parts of the Rio Grande Valley and northern mountains in the western mountains as well, something that we'll keep an eye on. Durango, a little bit of a temperature roller coaster, milder today. We'll start to cool off with the approaching storm system and stronger winds and becoming more wintry later this week with low temperatures in the teens and single digits, including Alamosa, Purgatory, Wolf Creek. Winter is on its last legs, but today, Farmington and Grants, sunshine in the 60s, temperatures jumping as much as 50 degrees for some areas near Grants and Gallup. Camado to the south, 60s and 70s, mid to upper 70s for some and lower 80s tomorrow from Alamogordo to Roswell. So very mild weather, back to spring-like weather, but we'll start to cool off much later in the week. More blowing gusts and the even higher fire threat later this week with a couple storm systems moving on through. But today, the calmest of the week, my pick of the week, to be honest, and Tucumcari to the north, even Raton, where temperatures start off in the teens and 20s, warming up in the 60s and 70s. Now, Clayton's a warmer morning. That downsloping wind will warm up in the upper 70s today, but Las Vegas later this week will start to become windier. Red River, Santa Fe, Espanola, highs in the 50s and 60s, lows in the teens and 20s. Our next best chance of rain, snow later this week, Moriarty, Tijeras, and Cedar Crest. Any snow left over will really continue to melt, even along the Sandia Crest area. Temperatures in the high 40s, 50s there, 60s down the eastern mountain valleys. And from the north to south valley of Albuquerque, temperatures in the upper 60s, lower 70s. We may sneak in at 70 tomorrow. Briefly cooler Wednesday, warmer Thursday, and Stephanie, there are those winds picking up once again, blowing dust. But look at that, Friday morning, a slight chance of wet snow. So winter is on its last legs, even though we're dealing with the spring-like winds and the spring-like temperatures here in the short term.
Yeah, I think everyone has kind of grown to expect this in this time of year. It gets a little wacky. So
right. I will say, though, with the rain and snow that we did see, I don't think I need a car wash because my car is much cleaner.
Oh, good.
So
there you go.
Bright
Bright side.
Then becoming dirtier probably later this week.
All right, thanks, Ryan.